Welcome to the Birding for Joy podcast, a show about discovering and exploring all the ways birding and wild birds bring joy into our lives. Throughout Season 4, we'll be focusing our attention on simple actions we can take in our daily lives to help birds and nature. I'm Candi Lynn Fite, your gracious host and joyful birder. If you're curious about learning how you too can live a bird-friendly lifestyle, grab your favorite beverage, settle on your perch, and let's get into today's episode. Greetings, listeners, and welcome to the first episode of Season 4 of the Birding for Joy podcast. If you've listened to the show before, welcome back. If this is your first time tuning in, I am so happy you're here. I hope this episode finds you all happy and healthy in the new year, and finding precious moments to venture outdoors and spend time with the birds. I am so excited about Season 4. It'll be quite different from the previous seasons on the podcast. The episodes throughout the season will focus on taking action and discussing various ways we can do more for our beloved feathered friends, because the birds and nature need our help. As I highlighted in the trailer for Season 4, research shows that birds, wildlife, and the environment need our help. The best part is that it doesn't have to be complicated. Helping the birds and the environment isn't difficult. We don't need to have a science or environmental background or hold any type of certification. All we need is love for nature, the desire to help, and the willingness to take action. A little background as to why I'm dedicating an entire season to helping the birds. In the fall, I became quite overwhelmed with the need to do more for the birds and nature. I had this sinking feeling that I was running out of time, and I needed to figure out how to help. Then I had a disheartening conversation with someone I thought might understand. When I explained how I wanted desperately to do my part of taking care of the birds and wildlife, and how I wanted to find ways to increase my efforts, this person dismissed my concerns, telling me that nature will take care of itself, and that the birds and wildlife will find a way to survive. I was stunned and caught off guard by this person's apathetic outlook. It took me days to rebound. I had to sit in my feelings for a bit. But afterward, I concluded it's complacent attitudes like this that nature and the environment are in its current condition, in peril, teetering on the brink of ruin. But it's not too late. We can do things to help. Simple, everyday actions to help improve the environment, nature, and wildlife. 7 to be exact. As laid out by the Smithsonian Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute's Migratory Bird Center, they have developed 7 simple actions to live bird-friendly. And throughout Season 4, here on the Birding for Joy podcast, we are taking a deep dive into these actions and discussing ways that we can be better humans and do more for the birds that we all adore so much. Join me each week this season as we break down these 7 simple actions and discuss how we can implement them into our lives. Today, I will introduce the 7 actions that we'll talk about throughout the season. Since the actions don't necessarily follow in any particular order, I've arranged the actions to coincide with the late winter and spring seasons. Several of the actions will be covered by multiple episodes. And by the end of Season 4 in May, we will have a firm grasp on how to put our plans into action. Are you ready to migrate into living a more bird-friendly lifestyle? If so, let's do this. From the Smithsonian Bird Friendly Program, here are the 7 simple actions to living bird-friendly. Number 1, turn out lights and treat windows to keep birds safe. Number 2, keep cats indoors to save birds. Number 3, plant native plants to shelter and nourish birds. Number 4, avoid pesticides for a bird-friendly home. Number 5, choose bird-friendly food products to protect disappearing habitats. Number 6, avoid single-use plastics to protect birds and the planet. And number 7, share your sightings on eBird. That's it. I told you they were simple. Not only are they easy actions we can take every day, but some of them are fun too. And a couple are tasty. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said tasty. Did you know your morning cup of coffee can benefit the birds? Join me next week, Thursday, January 30th, for an interview with Kirsten Hill, the bird-friendly program manager at Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute Migratory Bird Center, when she will share about the bird-friendly program and the benefits of drinking bird-friendly coffee. You won't want to miss out. Also, don't think I won't be infusing short segments of my birding joy into the episodes. For today, I'd like to share about an experience I had last week. An acquaintance of mine who knows I'm a birder texted to tell me that she had a large flock of American white pelicans that had stopped by her pond. Not only that, she gave me her address and directions to find her pond once I got to her property, if I managed to make it there before they left. It would be a lifer for me. She mentioned in her text that the winter before they only stayed for a couple of hours. Needless to say, I stopped what I was doing immediately and rushed over with my camera and binoculars. I followed her instructions and drove slowly over the cattle guard, so the rumbling of my tires over the metal bars wouldn't scare them away. If you've never driven over a cattle guard before, they are bumpy and loud. I spent about 15 minutes staring in awe as the pelicans floated, bobbing on the surface and fishing before they began taking flight in groups of 5 to 10. Each small group would scramble in unison across the water's surface, flapping their wings with awkward urgency before liftoff. They would soar upward and then circle the pond 2 or 3 times before heading west. By the time I watched one group in its synchronized sky dance, becoming specks on the horizon, another group would take off. I watched this amazing scene from my car, so I didn't interrupt or rush their process. It was beautiful and mesmerizing and will remain etched in my memory forever. It's moments such as this that make birding such a joyful experience. Before I close, I wanted to say one more thing about the person who, unbeknownst, helped spur the new season's plan into action. I managed to find a silver lining from our unpleasant conversation. In thanks, I am considering sending a copy of Rachel Carson's Silent Spring to this person. I don't believe they listen to the podcast, but if they do, maybe they will think twice about how they respond to someone trying to have an open, honest conversation about subjects close to their hearts. And maybe, just maybe, Carson's Silent Spring will enlighten them. Don't miss next week's exciting interview with Kirsten Hill. I will add a link to the Smithsonian's bird-friendly website in the show notes. Until next week, I wish you well and joyful birding, my friends. If you are enjoying the Birding for Joy podcast, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to the show. Subscribing and tuning in to the episodes allows the algorithms on the platforms to know that the podcast is providing you worthwhile content and helps ensure the success of the show. Remember, the absolute best way to support your favorite podcast is by word of mouth. So make sure to share Birding for Joy with others who might enjoy listening. That way we can continue to build a joyful birding community. As always, thank you for tuning in, my friends.